I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen.
Honey,
Isn't it Christmas?
no.
Hey, Inspired Tribe, how's it going out? I love Christmas. I love Christmas songs, and it's March, so, well, it's a good time as any to begin, right? Welcome to the Inspired Livestream. I'm Jean Nolan. This is Kristin Nolan. You can't see her, but she's here. She's going to be vocal about being here.
I do exist.
She does exist. You see, it's the voice from the vortex.
I do exist.
She does exist. And she's going to give me looks.
I'm not only in your vortex. I do exist.
Yeah, she does exist. That's wonderful. Thank you for being here in Inspired Livestream here on the Inspired channel. It is Tuesday, March 2nd, 2020, WON 21. And we're, I think, very fast approaching our 1 year anniversary of the first live stream. I actually have to look it up, but it's coming very close. I know it was March, don't know exactly. This is number 140. So thank you for being here. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Give us your name, give us your location, give us your, no, you don't need to give us your number, but give us the name and location. That'd be awesome. We're healthy. We're wealthy, we're whole, we're free, we're healthy. Repeat after me. Healthy, wealthy, whole, free. And we are also kind of living in a twilight zone. I'm going to dive into that topic today. It's going to be a really cool ride. You want to stick around because we're going to get, as always, to the sweet spot, to the beautiful, wonderful, always expanding, ever increasing and always expanding spot in the middle. So that's where we're going to get to. Thanks for tuning in. And again, let us know where you are tuning in from. We love having you guys. It's been a little bit of a longer weekend for us. Not really chilling that much, just little different stuff to do. Yesterday, live stream, we moved it to today because I was in the studio recording some music. For those of you who don't know, who just know us from the live streams, that's kind of what I really do. I'm actually, yeah, it's true. I'm actually an artist and songwriter. That's what I really do. So some people last week when I sang, some people, oh, you sing? And yeah, it's kind of what I actually really do. I'm actually an artist and songwriter. And so, yeah, we're tuning in from the Nashville area. Again, John and Christine, and thank you for being here. Let's dive into it, Inspired Tribe, the Twilight Zone. So we asked some questions today. And the questions that we asked in the description of this live streams, we asked because this has literally been the the series of questions that we've been seeing and receiving and kind of having ourselves to. What we've been hearing for the past month or months has been, it is surreal. What's going on feels surreal. It does not feel real. Some people are literally, they're rubbing their eyes and they're trying to wake up from the dream or nightmare, whatever you want to call it. And they're saying, it just doesn't feel real. What's happening around me doesn't seem real. Some people say, I remember things differently. Some people know this as the Mandela effect, and we maybe want to talk a little bit about it later. But as a general theme, it's like, what's going on? Why doesn't reality feel real? And why do things look so much different in the outside world than I created or anticipated, or I even already saw a different reality unfolding, and now I'm seeing this. So this is kind of what we call the Twilight Zone. And we want to give you our perspective on it. Now, of course, there's no guarantee that is the perspective. It's just our perspective. But we believe we're onto something with this. And then we're going to dive into some universal laws that we've shared before, but we want to share again because we believe people forget them. But actually, they're the key to moving into this sweet spot where we're going to end at this live stream today. So it's a journey. Fasten your seatbelts, or better yet, don't fasten your seatbelts. Relax, kick back, and get ready to be ready. So when we talk about the Twilight Zone and what is happening, people are going and saying, well, listen, we've been co-creating, we've been on this path of being conscious creators, of wanting to create a beautiful new experience for humanity, for everything. And now we look at the world outside of us, and it's kind of more chaos than ever. And really, what's mainly throwing people off is so much conflicting information and messaging. There's literally so many truths that are all being presented as objective truths that people are just like, what the hell is going on? This person on TV says this is the objective truth. This person on YouTube says this is the objective truth. And there's a world between them, and everything seems to be mushy. And we believe that there's a reason why everything's mushy. And actually, it's a good thing. But bear with us. This might be a little freaky. So as you guys know, we've talked about this before. We live in we're multi-dimensional beings, right? So this is nothing new to you guys. And the question is, do we realize how multi-dimensional we really are? Do we realize how many dimensions we can access? And as we're evolving and expanding, that number grows. So, at some point people thought, well, if you want to put numbers to it, because it's really just for our human understanding, it doesn't work that way. But some people say, well, there's 3D, of course, and then there's 4D, and then there's 5D, and some people say 6D, and then actually it goes all the way up to much more densities. It's really just energetic. But what we believe is happening on the planet today, why things are feeling so weird, is because we believe that two distinctive versions of reality are actually unfolding kind of in a parallel way right now. And this is because this is a result of a mass awakening in a shorter period of time than ever before, namely 2020, which we believe was the year of the eye-opening, of the awakening from the dream, from the lucid dream. And so this year, the past year, 2020, has caused more people to awaken. We're not saying to fully develop, but to awaken into a new state than ever before, in greater numbers, with greater intensity, which is even more important. Because it used to be that people realized there's something wrong with reality per se, or something wrong with these stories, and then they had this gradual awakening into a more spiritual path. Now, this is all happening at the same time for people. They're feeling their spirit awakening. They're feeling their higher self coming to life to show itself, and then everything else starts to unfold. So this has caused for a whole new dimension, if you will, to open up a whole new level. But at the same time, this old level, this matrix-oriented reality is still here. It's still present. It's kind of fading away, and at the same time, this is gaining more momentum, this new level. But it's like you remember in your life when you had like shifts in your life where you really changed things, it didn't happen overnight. When you create a new mindset, when you create a new reality for yourself, what you do is you gradually move into that new state. And some days you're in your old patterns and you're in your old behaviors, old habits, and some days you've already shifted fully over. And this is kind of going back and forth for a while until this vibration, the new, becomes more dominant, and you are here most of the time, and eventually you're here all of the time. So this is what we believe is going on, and that's why we see two so crazily different realities in front of our eyes, and it just doesn't make sense. And we're shifting trains into this new level, and what's happening on this old level is so much more disturbing for us because, number one, it's not authentic, it's not true, it's not factual, it doesn't feel real, all of those things. It's really weird. People are talking about things that you believe don't even have any merit. You shouldn't even think about stuff like that, but they do. It's happening. And at the same time, you have this beautiful new world, not new world order, but a beautiful new world that is coming up, that is emerging, that is being created, and that's unfolding every day. And we are now in the Twilight Zone. We're jumping back and forth a little bit. Some people are more here, some people are more here, and some people are right in between. And so we have this probably unique experience in our life, because in your lifetime, it's likely there's never been a time where such a shift has happened in such a short period of time. It used to be decades, right? And so it was very gradual, but this is a very fast jump. This is what people have been calling the ascension, if you will, for such a long time. And they thought it's going to be one morning, they wake up, ascension, boom, done, over with, new dimension, it's all good. It's all new. And this is still extremely fast how it's unfolding now. So we're in the Twilight Zone. What do we need to know about the Twilight Zone? Number one, very important. And this is something that's going to take you courage to hear, courage to realize, and then courage to live. Okay, so this message, I need you to be courageous to hear it, and I need you to be courageous to live it. Your decisions, what you choose for your life, what action you take, the decisions that you make, they might get you in trouble in this old paradigm. Those decisions might have negative consequences in this old reality, but in the new paradigm, this is what sets you free. This is what creates whole new levels of opportunities for you. This is the courage part. Because we're in the Twilight Zone, if you full-heartedly, knowingly, consciously make courageous, wonderful, aligned decisions, they will not sit well with the gatekeepers and the stuff that's happening in the old paradigm. It just won't. But it will be like a super boost for the new paradigm, because opportunities will just keep exploding in a good way around you, and they'll keep emerging all around you, and it will accelerate this path so much. So this is the courage part, because this old paradigm is all about controlling the mind, controlling the body, controlling your decisions, controlling everything, emotions even. But this new paradigm is all about freedom. And this freedom paradigm has been emerging for a very long time. In its initial ideas, it's been around for hundreds of years now, but it's just been so small, and a very limited number of people have accepted it as it being even present. But now it's literally expanding so quickly, and this is the Twilight Zone that we're in. So remember, if you make decisions from a place of alignment, inspiration, being connected to source, really feeling, and we're going to dive into that a little more, how to do that. But if you make those decisions from that place, you are going to thrive in this new paradigm. You're going to experience things and see things and hear things and smell things and get things and live things and do things that you've never done before. But looking into this old paradigm, these decisions would be, might have negative implications in the old paradigm. So what? We don't want to live in this old paradigm anyways. We want to move into the new one. So it's all about being courageous, being your true, authentic self. And then things are going to really, really shift over really well. Now, we're forgetting about, so often as we are not just observing, but creating reality, and as some of our worries come up, as some of our maybe some old fears to come up, maybe it's important to remember the 4 universal laws here that are really, really helpful, because in order for you to really shift into this new paradigm more smoothly, you need to allow yourself to move from these states of guilt and from these states of fear into states of authenticity, of courage, of inspiration, of love. And how do we do that? Sometimes we look back at our history, at our life, and we have these regrets and doubts and fears, and maybe we should have done this, should have done that, and I'm too late and I'm too early and all of that. So let's look at the 4 universal laws that are so often forgotten, but that are so not just accurate, but very, very powerful, and they will help you to kind of create a shift moment for yourself. Every time you find yourself in the state where you doubt your old decisions, where you doubt your history, where you doubt where you're at in life, where you think you should have done things differently, where you think it shouldn't have happened to you, all those things, look at those 4 laws that we're going to talk about right now. Number 1 is the person you encounter, the being you meet is the right being, is the right person. And this, so we have to, when we do this, we have to go into a bigger perspective. With your human mind, you look at this, and there's all kinds of situations that you can make up where you go, this just isn't accurate. Let's look at this from a higher self perspective. The person you encounter, the person you meet is the right person. This is a universal law. Now, what does that mean? It means that no interaction that you have, no meeting that you have happens by chance. You were destined by virtue of your thoughts and your creations to have that action or interaction or meeting, meet that person. So it's always the right person. And why is this helpful to understand? Because we can begin to move away from that struggle that, there's wrong people in our lives, so wrong interactions or wrong something, and we can accept this person, accept the experience with them. It doesn't mean we have to stay in it, but we can accept that we always have something to gain, something to learn, something to expand. That's always the intention of all of those interactions that are happening. So the person we meet is the right person. Then the second universal law is, whatever happens, it couldn't have happened any other way. This is maybe the most consequential law in terms of, in terms of how it helps us to move away from this belief that we can replay these situations and it should have been different and it could have been different. And if I said this, they would have said, what happens couldn't have happened any other way, which allows us to make peace. To make peace with the past. Sometimes it requires a process to do that. Sometimes it's just a decision. Sometimes we can do a beautiful ho'oponopono. If you haven't been with us so long, where we do that sometimes. We begin our live stream sometimes. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It's a beautiful Hawaiian ritual. Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It means I am not struggling with my past anymore. I am not struggling with what happened anymore. I am not trying to change it anymore. I am in loving acceptance, asking for forgiveness. I am thanking for forgiveness. I am expressing love, and I am receiving love. That's it. That's the story. Whatever happens couldn't have happened any other way. How good does that feel? How good does it feel that we can say it is not just okay, it is good, and it couldn't have been any other way. Moving forward, we have full creative freedom to create new experiences. We have full creative freedom to create a new vision. We have full creative freedom to move to this new paradigm. We have all of this creative freedom, and we don't have to waste it on trying to manipulate these past experiences. It is good, it is gone, it is over, let's move on. That's the second universal law. The third universal law is, whenever something begins is the right time. And isn't that something we humans struggle with so much? We have this thing called impatience. And actually, we posted a beautiful Abraham segment, maybe one of the best segments we've ever posted on it's called You Don't Need Patience. It's an Abraham diamond. You can look it up in our video section. But really, whenever something begins is the right time, what does that mean? It again means that we can allow ourselves not to play the woulda, shoulda, coulda game. If I had only, all these things do not really exist in this reality. And why not? Because time doesn't really exist. So whenever something begins is the right time, because in the big scheme of things, time doesn't even exist. So it's our own concept, our 3D reality concept, that we are so bound, so hell-bent on pointing something at a specific moment in time. Whenever an experience begins, whenever something new begins in your life, it is the right time. How's that? Feels beautiful. It feels like we really are the creators that we are. It just feels wonderful in my heart to say that. Say it with me. Whenever something begins is the right time. So that's the third universal law. In case you kind of skipped over the first two or haven't heard them, let me repeat. Number one, the person you meet is the right person, always. Whatever happens couldn't have happened any other way is the second law. Whenever something begins is the right time. It's the third law. And now the fourth is, when something ends, it ends. And these four laws pretty much sum up the human drama and how we could end it. Because all of our drama, all of our heartbreak, love relationships, lack, health, all of our human dramas have to do with these four laws and not understanding them and fighting against what we experience. Rather than creating what we desire to experience. And that is the key point. Fourth law, when something ends, it ends. You know this more than anything. What is over is over. That's really the truth of, and that's because energy has transformed into something new. My wife says something so profoundly wise. So she'll say it to anyone who says, well, if I just don't ever look there again, it's just gone. It doesn't work that way. Energy does not go away. Energy can only be transformed. And so this fourth law means that a vibration and energy has been transformed into something different. That's why that energy, that pattern is over. And even if you try to recreate it, it doesn't work anymore. And it's kind of like, this is a very like a banal example, but I'll always bring it up. You remember, maybe you like going out before, you'd like to hang out with your friends, and there's this, maybe in your youth, maybe growing up, you had this experience where, I remember this, one night, it was Friday night, I might have been, 19, 20. I said, I'm going to just go to bed tonight. I don't want to go out. I don't want to do anything. And then it's like 10, 11 p.m. and a friend calls me up and says, let's go out and let's just have fun, kind of very spontaneous. And it turns out to be one of those great nights, really a lot of fun. Everyone's really enjoying themselves. It's super awesome. And everyone goes to bed the next morning, says, this was the best night of our lives. We just had so much fun, And then next Friday comes around, you want to recreate it. You want to call the same people, you want to go to the same places, you want to do the same things, but it just doesn't work because this experience, this energy window is over. It ended that particular night. Whatever is over is over. And when we accept the laws as what they are, laws, universal laws, these are not man-made laws. We can't rewrite them. And when we understand that these laws really are part of the universal, what you call or we call the law of attraction, then you can see how profoundly deep and complex this all is. And that's why we always say that this has been a very complex law, not complicated, but complex law, has been Mickey Mouse down to a 2D version of it. And that's why so many people struggle with it, because they don't see the beautiful complexity that you get through life experience on how these laws work. And so as we're moving between these in this twilight zone between the old and new paradigm, and it's kind of like, it reminds me of, we used to live in a town in Austria that had about 3 months of fog every winter. And when I say 3 months of fog, it's pretty much 24/7. And what would happen is you'd be you'd walk through town December, and it was almost dark during the day because there was such a dense fog. It's after a while, it feels very depressing and kind of, it weighs on you. And all it takes is for you to, jump in a car and drive about 10, 15 minutes out of town. It's a highway that has it's a slow elevation, but it goes up slowly. And after 10, 15 minutes, you break through that fog, and all of a sudden it's blue skies and sunshine. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. You're in a new paradigm. Everything, you can see everything. Everything's open. And when you go back home into the fog, you shift back into the old paradigm, into the fog. And this is kind of what this reminds me of. This is where we're at right now in this twilight zone. But if we apply these 4 laws to our lives, we can allow ourselves to move from the guilt, from the fear, from the woulda, shoulda, coulda, into this new paradigm that is actually full of potential, full of creation, full of love, full of freedom, full of new. And be courageous enough to do it. So I would really encourage you to walk. We always say this, walk with these laws. Think about them. By now, probably you should have written them down and just go over them, meditate on them, do a walking meditation. It allows you to, when you walk and when you have realizations, 2 things happen. Usually a realization means an old perspective isn't valid anymore because you shifted into a new perspective. So why we always say walk on that or walk with it is because in that moment, your whole body moves with the new perspective, and the old perspective falls behind. This is why these things are so beautiful. While the body can support with movement, you can support these realizations. And I don't know about you, but walks or running always helps me to really get and gain new perspectives and release the old perspectives as I move into the new. It's a very powerful thing. So please walk with these laws. And then what is our kryptonite? Where do we find this superpower that we've been talking about, your unique superpower? How do we thrive in this new paradigm while this old paradigm is kind of still looming here? Because what's going to happen, and this is why we're so invested in this, the more of us co-create in the new paradigm, the more of us bring our energy to this, the more this old paradigm will just begin to fall away. It will begin to leave our perspective. It will eventually begin to have not a lot of power, merit anymore. And eventually, it's kind of like moving from a cold into health again. There's this experience where you go, well, at some point I was just healthy, and that old paradigm will be gone. This is just what we accept as the path right now. It feels very, very pure, feels very, very good. So we just, again, it's our perspective. It might not be complete, it might not be the perspective, but it is for us a very coherent and harmonious perspective. So let's shift into this new paradigm more and more and more, create here, and be courageous, because for a little while, you're going to have your foot on both sides. You're one foot here and one foot there. And it's just a balancing act for right now. And that's okay. We can do that. And we can help each other. We can support each other. We can inspire each other, connect with each other. And the kryptonite, and that's really your superpower. And it's so funny because in the old paradigm, the kryptonite, every superhero has kind of this superpower that comes from somewhere. And almost every superhero's superpower comes from somewhere outside of them. This is the old paradigm. You need something from out here, and you need to get it, steal it, fight for it. And then when you have that superpower, you can be the superhero. But in the new paradigm, you realize that superpower isn't on a different planet. The kryptonite, you don't have to get it from a different planet. It is actually something you find when you go within. It is actually something you find when you close your eyes to the outer world, when you shut off your senses from your outer experience, when you move in the deepest part of you, which also is the deepest part of all that is. And this is how you see. This is how you see for the first time for real that it is actually all inside of you. Because where do we have our most profound spiritual experiences? Is when we close our eyes. How could that be possible? And how can we access the field that is infinite, that is infinite potential? How can we access that when we close our eyes and shut off our senses? And actually, that's how it happens. You close your eyes and you allow yourself to go into deeper and deeper state, and eventually you land in the field. And in that field, you are everything. And in that field, you soak in this superpower energy, this universal kryptonite, which is the authentic you, the real you, the you that has been around forever and it's going to be around forever. That part of you, that's the powerful part of you. And that only happens when you shut off the world, when you shut off your senses, when you go within. And this is where you get your superpower. And with that superpower, your authentic strength, talent, you open this new paradigm up wide open, and you open yourself up to all the potential that's there. Because this is something that we want you guys to know. Your potential is unlimited, and you don't even know. You haven't even come close to beginning to understand in how many ways you are able to thrive. It's this old paradigm way of looking at things is so limited. It has so limited pleasures, and they're all in this very small box. Whereas the beautiful fulfillment, it's not pleasures anymore. Pleasure is it's small stuff. Fulfillment, real fulfillment that happens in a new paradigm, that happens when you are connected, that happens when you make those courageous, inspired decisions. It's beyond words. And it won't require all the material components that are always necessary here. You will actually access worlds, states of consciousness and beingness that you didn't even know existed, and feel more and in more powerful ways than you could have imagined before. And I'm telling you, it's so worth it. It is so worth it. We have created this shift into the new paradigm, and it's not that we aren't playing and dancing in this old paradigm sometimes. It's not that, but we have created the shift where we make courageous decisions that we knew could have negative consequences in the old paradigm, but we simply detached from that and allowed ourselves to move into this experience. And so our decisions led to very, very interesting experiences within the old paradigm. But here's something that I want you to know. We had all kinds of, if you will, scary moments that people could have, encounters with all kinds of police and agencies, everything you could possibly imagine that this control paradigm does. See, there's even an alarm beeping as I'm saying this. We've had these encounters, but they always turned out like super awesome for us because we knew that who we really are is so much bigger than this game. So actually, we could not be touched. Actually, we could not be harmed. And this has been our experience over and over and over and over and over again. And so now when even if we face an experience that might be uncomfortable in his old paradigm, we know we're going to transcend this in ways that you know the powers here don't even understand. And so we want to give you this perspective, and we want to remind you that it's going to require courage. It's going to require a kind of courage you maybe never had to have before. It maybe was never required, but now if you really want that shift, if you really want that new thing, you have to be courageous. But if you walk with these laws, if you meditate, if you go within, if you connect with source, that courage that it requires is actually going to turn into a natural form of strength within you. Your superpower is going to kick in, and then you really won't need what you believe was courage, because you're just going to feel the certainty, feel the strength. And we see this in the groups that we work with and in our members. We see this happening more and more as they move into this new understanding, into this new level of being. They are seeing this, that they have a level of strength, a level of knowing, not faith. Faith is okay to start with. Hope's kind of the base level, and then you move into faith. It's a good thing. But knowing, that's it. That's living it with all of your being. And then at that level, when you feel the knowing, you have no fear. What could you fear when you fully know who you are? What could you fear if you know that you are eternal? There's no death. There's no ending. There is no such thing. What could you possibly fear? And when you have no fear anymore, that's when you really, really, really begin to dip into your true power. That's where everything begins to change. So this is come back to this. This live stream has been quite a journey in a very short period of time, but come back to this. Listen to this. You're going to hear different things at a different time. And if that's all you're going to do this week or this month, do it. Come back, re-listen, walk with this. There are really some key elements here that we always expand on in our courses and in our membership calls, because it's just a bigger picture, and we lead our participants through the experiences. But these are the key elements. This is what we have been doing for now 15 years or longer. And this is why we know where this is going, not because we look into the future, but because we have already seen it unfold. It's kind of like looking back and projecting this on a bigger scale into the future. So this is what's happening. This is what's going to happen. Let's co-create this beautiful new paradigm and see how good it can get. And that's the question. How good can it get? Ask yourself, how good can it get? As you see, this is an open question. How good can it get? Feels open, right? How freaking good can this get for you? On how many levels can you thrive? Can you actually thrive on all levels in your life? Can you actually have a pleasant experience 24/7? And even the experiences that seem to be uncomfortable, you approach with a certain level of comfort because you know who you are. How good can it get? Ask yourself. and then live with that, walk with that, meditate on that, expand in that. Alma, we want to thank you so much for your generous contributions in almost every live stream. Thank you so much. Also, we want to ask you where you're tuning in from. I have a.
She's from Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh.
But I don't know if.
But originally, where's the original Mula Hasanovic? I've said it's probably Bosnian. That's what I think it is. But Jacksonville, Florida.
Sounds nice, doesn't it?
Sounds about right. So yeah, Tribesters, this is it. Shift moments, and what makes the old paradigm scary, worrisome, even painful, is that you believe that it's real. It's all that it is. If you see it for what it is, a game that's played within a very narrow box of dimensions, then that shift into this new thing is easier and easier and easier. So this is it for us from today, from us for today. Please hit the like button. That's the little thumbs up thing. And thank you for being with us. We're going to be here again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard. Please go and click the link in the top of the live chat. Excuse me, and do this thing. It's a gift from us to you. Do this thing. This is a perfect kickoff. If you were feeling like you need kind of like an, what is it called? What is it called? A ritual where you bring people into something new? That's a word for it. I can't think of it.
A ritual where you what?
A ritual where you bring people into a new group or into a new experience. There's a word for it, but I can't think of it. Well, at any rate, it'll come to me. Do this. Click the link. Do this. It's a beautiful process. And
Alma is asking a good question. You should answer that.
What's the question?
I meditated for the past 3 years and nothing happened. Only purple light is circling around. What am I doing wrong?
It's a good question, and I wouldn't say you're doing anything wrong. But I would ask you, are you making any changes? Are you doing different kinds of meditations? One thing that it's like anything else. If you practice the same meditation over and over again, it's like doing the same exercise over and over again. Eventually, you max out your experience. So we would suggest trying different meditations, maybe finding the right guide. Guided meditations can be very helpful
and going with an intention. Different intentions, different outcome. Exactly,
going with an intention. The reason we're not big on gurus. Yeah, let's stick with that statement. We're not big on gurus, but having a guide, a teacher that will bring you to the next and the next and the next level in meditations is very powerful. And it's like with anything else. If you are doing this with someone who has already been or is already in different or new and bigger levels, then they can guide you because they already know what's going to happen. So we would suggest that. Maybe look for a meditation group, maybe look for a teacher. Maybe it's the right time for this. There's no wrong, there's no right, there's just your experience and an expansion in it. So we wouldn't say that there's anything wrong with it, but we will say this. We had been meditating up until 2018. We had been meditating regularly, but not daily. And it was a beautiful, pleasant experience. And sometimes it would go deeper, sometimes it wouldn't go deeper. But I think in around 2018, we really committed ourselves to daily meditation. And it is a discipline. It is a discipline. It requires discipline for you to do that. It sounds stupid because it's meditation, but it is discipline. You have to put your mind to it. You have to show up for it. And so we showed up, and pretty quickly we showed up at least twice a day. And it turned into, for a long period of time, 2 pretty long meditations. I'd say probably an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening. I got up very early, still do. Got up at 4, meditated. Before we went to sleep, we meditated. And
maybe she should do the Wim Hof, because that changed a lot for many people too. Before the meditation.
that's a very good point. And I'm going to pick up on that right in a minute here. So once we moved into the daily meditations and we brought on different guides and different teachers for us, connected with and saw what really helped us more or less, it began to shift completely. Our whole life actually began to shift. And so one of the things that Kristin just suggested that we brought on, and that's always part of a really good, I mean, honestly, a real meditation always is breath work, because breath, it's the prana of life. It's actually how all of it moves. So with breath, you with the right kind of breathing in different styles, you access different dimensions in a meditation. But something very simple to begin with is to look up Wim Hof, if you don't know him, Wim Hof breathing on YouTube, and do a simple exercise that he guides you through. And then right after that breathing exercise, just allow yourself to move into your meditation, because that breath work will already have allowed you to access deeper states in your awareness. So that's something that we would do. But Alma, it's actually beautiful that you say that and ask that question, because for the past weeks in my meditations, it's been coming up that I want to invite you guys, we want to invite you guys maybe for a week-long meditation, probably online workshop where we meet daily and we guide you through certain meditations. So that might be something that we will create and reach out to you for, because we've been getting that question a lot lately, and it's a good time to do that. So what can I say? I knew. All right. Inspired Tribe, thank you for being with us. Dragonem namieda si tu. And that was, I just said, we're so glad that you're here. And we love you all. We appreciate you all. We're going to be here again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Standard. Bring yourselves, bring your family, bring your friends, and walk with what we talked about today. We believe it's really important. Thank you so much. And
coaching the clients, practice clients.
There's always something more. Rewinding. So
I'm sorry, I forgot I answered the question.
So as you guys know, we have, this year is the first year of our Inspired Coaching Academy, the ICA. We have aspiring junior coaches that are learning, becoming coaches. So they're always looking for practice clients. So this is just people who want to help our junior coaches practice the techniques. And it's free of charge for you, and you will get a secondhand benefit from it. Because they're really getting better and better at it. So if you would like to be a practice client and connect with one of our junior coaches, please send us an email to 365inspiredliving@gmail.com. We will connect you guys, and our aspiring coaches will be happy to meet with you online, or if you happen to be in the same city, in person. And thank you for connecting with them and for allowing them to practice, which is the most important part. So yeah, reach out, let us know. We love you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Standard, right here on the Inspire channel.